Let me show you what we got here. This is a Dell Inspiron 17500 series with a bad keyboard. So here's how this works. This particular Dell, the keyboard and the Palmrest are one part number. Normally that would piss me off, and in fact it not often does. As you see, I've done video of maybe an HP that was built similarly, but this is actually different construction. And let me show you what I'm talking about. Here is our, where's our camera? There we are. There's our replacement part. As you see, the keyboard's already there. Keyboard is one part. As you see here, these plastic rivets normally drive me insane. A lot of the other Dells that are manufactured, the keyboard will actually be screwed in, but in this case you have plastic rivets which just piss me off and discourage replacement. Discourage repair, I should say, causing you to replace your computer. So this particular computer, the keyboard is bad. Technically speaking, they chose to build this keyboard and the Palmrest into one part number, and here we are. So imagine if I had to replace this keyboard, as I have, and I can redirect this video. I'll have a link for the HP video that I'm whining about. Basically, the keyboard, it was available for that particular HP I'm speaking of, and I basically had to break all these plastic welds. So hopefully this repair will go a little smoother. So I just thought I'd show you. Now you can watch me tear into this machine. Show up in the YouTube chat with questions or comments. Give me some interaction. I get bored. Be a part of the conversation. Here we go. So I'm going to start tearing this apart. You can laugh, giggle, point, say all the weird things you want. Alright, here we go. I only have one working camera right now, so I figured the work is more important than my face. Okay, so this particular keyboard, this screw here probably has a C-clamp on the back, keeping it from falling out. And just be careful when taking these screws out. Have a place to put them. Pay attention to what size they are. Oh, that's interesting. This one comes all the way out. This particular machine has a bad keyboard. Oh, now just as I speak of missing screws, I almost lose one. If you've never been here before, you've stumbled across me. My name is Chris with South Bay Tech Gurus, offering free interaction for anyone who wants it. Show up in the YouTube chat, say hi, give me a call at 855-434-8787. Let's see here. I need to send a text. Let's see. You get a alert. Alright, so this screw here does not want to come off, this other one did. So just be gentle, take your time. Okay, so one of the things I like to do is, if I can get a screw that's loose, at one at a time, rather than risking tearing one apart and losing a screw. Just pay attention. Take one, undo one screw at a time, flip it up, let it fall into your hand, so that way when you flip it this way you don't have a bunch of screws scattering across the table. Alright, okay, so we got two little itty bitty screws that hold on. This is an older machine. This is probably one of the last machines that was built with an optical drive. There we go. Oh. There. Okay, so once you do that, take your CD drive out. I know a more modern machine does not have an optical drive. Okay. So we got two little itty bitty screws above the optical drive, which sandwich the palm rest to the base of the machine. You can come up with any way of organizing your screws. Just pay attention to what you're up to. Someone wants to check in on the YouTube chat and just tell me if my audio is good, because this is always one of my more difficult interactions with you guys, is having to monitor myself. So if my audio isn't right, I don't know that until someone says so. You won't hurt my feelings. I promise. All right, we are, if you've just joined us now, tearing into a Dell Inspiron 17 5000. Let's see here. Palmrest and the keyboard are one part. Just drop my screw. Make sure I don't get sloppy. Put that out of the way so I don't kick it. Yeah, she admitted she dropped coffee on it, so her keyboard's only half functional. There we go. Okay, we're about half done with these screws on the bottom. Then I'm going to take this plastic spudger that's made out of a really soft plastic, so I can take the bends and the dings instead of putting gashes into the plastic laptop. Alrighty. Okay. I got the lights turned down because this silver computer is reflecting light right back into the camera. Okay, so flip this upside down. Yeah, I just made the mistake I lectured you about. I dropped a screw. All right. These can fall out now. Oh, those screws don't want to give it up. Okay, so that does not want to let go. That's annoying. Okay, I got 3 screws that do not want to let go. So now I'm going to use my plastic spudger to squeeze this thing apart. There's our machine. Plastic spudger. Spudger. Which spudger do I want to use? How about this one? There we are. This thing is made of a very soft plastic so that when I try to pry things apart, it doesn't damage the harder plastic the machine is made out of. So this pizza cutter, a little roller, that's for sliding in between the backs, like iMac is really what this is designed for. Sliding that screen off of the chassis so I don't have to worry about digging too far back and damaging the bezel. Alright, so sometimes this plastic is too soft to actually get a good... There we go. Alright. You can't quite see what's going on, can you? There, okay. Got it. That was a nice good pop. Don't let these larger machines intimidate you. Sometimes they're the easier ones to work on. I think mechanics will say that. The bigger the engine, sometimes the easier they are to work on. Well, sometimes that's the case with the laptop too. You'd be surprised. Okay. There we go. That's interesting. Okay. I'm just observing how these screws are in here. This particular screw. There. Let's see, how's that? Ah, now you can see what I'm up to. I'm just pulling the screws out because they got stuck. Okay. Okay, I got two screws that don't want to come out easy. Rather than risking losing them, I'm just going to leave them in there. They're these two screws right here. Let's see where the camera is. Oh, right here, right where my finger is. Those two screws right there and right there. I'm going to leave them in there. This is the bottom plate for the whole machine. And then these are the guts for the XPS 17. So I have to move everything to the new Palmrest. Technically, the bottom plate is not the chassis of the machine. In this case, it is the Palmrest. So I ultimately have to move absolutely everything here to the new Palmrest. Let's compare. There we go. Oh, so this machine has a mechanical drive. Yeah, so this is the replacement part. I have to move everything. Basically, it's like an engine transfer. You move everything to here. All they had was a black one. She said she doesn't care about the color. This machine is silver. All right, let's go. Just pay attention to where you put your screws and you shouldn't have a problem. Make sure that when you replace your heat sink, or not replace, but when you put it back on, that you have good thermal compound to put back on, because if you break that seal, you want to make sure it continues to cool the machine reliably. All right, so just take your time. And that's it. Separate your screws based on where you pulled them from so you can pay attention. I mean, me, literally filming myself doing this, I could refer to the video. I have done that a few times because I lost track of where I pulled the screws out of. That helps. Alright. This should be a straightforward swap. Okay. Okay, that particular... So this right here is for the optical drive. I don't know how well you can see that. Ah, there. That's why I have two Phillips head screwdrivers. This screwdriver is slightly... it's shaped differently, so it grabs better. There. So that's going to go back on the new Palmrest. So this is a legacy machine, so it has a mechanical 2.5-inch drive. That's what this is right here. Let me see if I can get you guys a better view here. You know what? I think now that I have opened up all the silver, oh, now there's still some reflectivity, so, oh, there. Let's see how well this works. Let's try this. Let's see if we can. Alright, let's try to get, oh, there we go. That's a little closer. Okay. Let's pull this 3.5-inch drive out of here. Just take your time. This would be a prime example where upgrading your machine from a mechanical drive to an SSD would be awesome. Cost effective. This is a better model of a Dell. It's a more reliable machine. Some of these machines are just not that reliable. Before I start unplugging the stuff, why don't I take the battery? There, now the battery's unplugged. Now the hard drive is out. Now let's actually remove this battery. What are we going to call this video? XPS? No, it's not an XPS. It's an Inspiron 17 teardown. There. Looks like there's room to upgrade the RAM. Looks like the screws that hold the hard drive in are the same screws as the battery. Never been here before. Oh, looks like our battery's about ready to expire. I'll show you what I mean in the video here. Okay, so this battery should be perfectly flat. It's starting to bulge out. This is, I mean, she didn't complain about her battery life, but what I'm recognizing is that this part, you can see how it's a little bulbous. It shouldn't look like that. This battery is on its way out. It's either problematic and she's not complaining about it, or it's problematic and she hasn't noticed it, so it hasn't been enough of a problem. So she's probably only getting a half hour out of this thing. Originally rated for probably at least 3 or 4 hours. So the first thing I notice is that this battery is probably worthy of replacement. Okay. So, look at this. So this particular machine has an M2, which she's probably booting off of, but not necessarily. And then she was using a mechanical drive for storage, which she might not even be aware of. A lot of people don't even realize their computer has 2 drives. Most people that are not tech savvy, they don't know what it means to have 2 hard drives on a computer. So we're going to gently remove the SSD also. Okay. We're going to gently unplug the Palmrest. Gently unplug what looks like a daughter board over here. This is your CMOS battery, and then you got a USB port, and then that's getting its data transferred over this cable here to the motherboard. So I'm going to gently unplug that. And then we have another cable, which is probably going to the keyboard. I'm going to unplug here. Oh, I see where it goes. It goes over here. So this is probably your power button right here to the motherboard. Okay, one more ribbon cable right here. That's the keyboard. Okay, so this keyboard has 2 cables. This is your data cable right here, and then this is your backlight right here. Okay, so we're going to be gentle removing the fan. I'm going to end this video after I tear this down because I think putting it back together is a separate video. This is an why do I keep calling this thing an XPS? It's an Inspiron 17. 5,000. I try to go live every day, 3 days a week. If you don't catch me over here at around 10 a.m., someone's paying me to be somewhere else. or the work I'm doing just isn't easy to film. Just be gentle with these cables. There we go. Got another cable. Yeah, be careful that you don't forget. There are sometimes cables like this cable here was buried under this fan. You don't want to get too excited. Leave that plugged in and suddenly you've got a dead cable because you ripped it. Then you got to wait for Dell to send you one. So even though it might be a $10 cable or a $5 cable, one, it's $5 or $10, and two, had you just been more careful, you wouldn't have had to replace it. It looks like absolutely everything gets transported because that Palmrest has nothing on it other than the keyboard. Okay, so, I don't have to remove, that's interesting. It looks like I don't have to remove the heatsink. Okay, we're going to move this. Oh, you can't see again. There, I just moved this. This is your hinge for the LCD screen. And it looks like we got silver screw here. We only have one technical screw that holds the motherboard in place. We're going to do this. There's a lot of, this is your speaker cable over here. There we go. Okay, I just moved that was the Wi-Fi card. All right, so the teardown of this Dell Inspiron 17 is pretty much complete. This whole thing is getting replaced. Let me see what I actually need to remove. Oh, okay, cool. So we've got a couple more screws for this hinge. I have to open up this other hinge. There. Pop that hinge open, and now this Palmrest. The speakers. Yeah, I have to remove the speakers. Those didn't come. Sometimes the speakers come with. You never actually know when you order a Palmrest what parts are actually part of the same part. I guess that makes sense. So in this case, the speakers are a separate part. There. Okay, so now the speakers are removed. Good. So I know I'm going to have to revisit this Palmrest because some of these cables are still here. And the Palmrest also includes the touchpad. So the Palmrest here. Oh, there we go. So again, sometimes what I've been speaking of about the keyboard being the same part, sometimes that's also the situation with the Palmrest. Just pay attention to that, because if you go looking for a part number for a Palmrest, it might keep redirecting you to the part for, the touchpad. If you keep looking for a part number for the touchpad or the keyboard and it directs you to the Palmrest only, take a look at the picture, Pay attention to the details because sometimes the keyboard, the palm rest, and the touchpad are all one part. Okay, so I need to gently, you know what I'm going to do first? I'm going to remove the LCD off the desk. And now I'm going to finish removing the parts off of this palm rest. Okay, so this keyboard is not being removed, but the cable, oh, that's right. Let's see. Let me check here. Let me check what we're dealing with here. Okay, that was right. There were a couple caveats. This particular cable is for your keyboard, and it looks like the replacement palm rest does not come with a what's it called? Does not come with a backlight keyboard. You see right there how it's labeled KB BL. That KB, there we go. That KB, there we go. Where it says KB and BL, that's keyboard backlight. This particular palm rest does not have a backlit keyboard in it. And then of course here you can see the actual data cable for the keyboard. So pay attention to that. If you did that on purpose, that's fine. But if you didn't, it's an easy oversight. Pay attention. All right, so there's our replacement part. So I'm going to be gentle. Okay, so what do I need to grab? Okay, this is what I need to grab. Alrighty. Looks like it'll be the first part I put back onto the new palm rest. Be gentle with that cable. In fact, this cable is glued right here, so be very gentle. You don't want to end up, like I said, you damage this cable, you're up a creek. There. So that's your CMOS battery and a USB port. What else do I need? It looks like I need this circuit board. Lovely. Okay, so this right here is the power button. It looks like I have to move that also. Sometimes the palm rest and the power button are not one part. That's kind of an unusual situation. Let's see, we got two cables. Okay, we also have a daughter cable. What is that little circuit board? Does it show me here? What is that? Some sort of, you know what, it's probably the ID sensor. Some computerization that happens right there. This is the actual button. It is a touch power button, a touch sensitive button, so you can unlock the machine with your fingerprint. That's why this board here has, let's see here. Yes. All right. Sounds like I got some attention online. Ooh. All right, so let's be gentle. Gentle, gentle. All right. Be gentle. Oh, shucks. You have to be gentle. Okay. See, normally the power button is part of the palm rest. Eventually I'll have another camera so you can look at my face at the same time. 2 or 3 of my cameras got damaged in the transport to the new office. Okay, so just be gentle. see here. This is really frustrating. I just don't want to damage anything. Okay, so this is literally taped to the Palmrest. So you got to break that seal gently. Oh, that helps. Okay, that's gone. So there, you just watched me do that. How annoying. Okay. And then you have, use your finger. So the problem is you got different parts of this button here that is, holy heck. Okay, this is just annoying. So it's held in by parts of the Palmrest. Here's what I'm dealing with. I gotta get this circuit board and this power button off of here without breaking either. When I get a better camera, I'll be able to zoom. Let's see here. None of that is glued. I'm always afraid of damaging a cable. Okay. All right. Well, that was annoying. Gosh, that was a spam text. Okay, I gotta figure out how to get this little circuit board out of here without. Let's see here. Ah, there we go. Well, that was not obvious, but there we go. Okay, so the only thing now I have to remove is the Palmrest. Let me see how this goes together. Okay, so the screws I think I need to attack are these silver ones right here. Okay, after removing those silver screws, let's see if it pops out. What? Oh, okay, so we got a piece of tape here that's in the way. This little tape here. This thing here. There, that's annoying. There, our Palmrest has now been removed. Okay, so the last thing that needs to be removed here is the power. So here's our power cable connector, which is held in by one more screw. Let me see if I can show you that. It's fairly obvious when it's in your face, but I know those of you watching are going to want to see the details. There's your screw that holds in your your little power button. Power, not a button, power connector. Okay. That screwdriver sucks. All right. So it seems like most of this machine can be taken apart with a Phillips head screw. And there we go. I think that's everything that needs to be moved. So again, the one thing that is not necessarily intuitive, if you went to tear this thing apart before making phone calls or doing searching for parts, you might assume that this keyboard is a separate part, but Dell does not consider the keyboard to be separate from the Palmrest. So keep in mind, when you're tearing apart a machine, pay attention to whether your keyboard, Palmrest, and or touchpad are all one part. Okay, I'm going to call this video done because me putting it back together is worthy of another video. Give me a call, 855-434-8787. If you want more live and unedited content, show up live, 855-434-8787. South Bay Tech Gurus, show up live in the chat if you don't want a phone call. Usually 10 a.m. 3 days a week, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. If not, I show up randomly whenever I think I have good content to show off. There we are. I will be coming back with... Eventually I'll have another camera, so I don't have it all pointed downward. But anyway, I'll be back later. I'm going to put this thing back together in the new Palmrest.